So, Mr. Shea, we appreciate you. Can you come back onto our platform? Man, we're excited, and I hope you can take back this electricity and tell Karan we rock the house here at DJ the Money Coach.
Yeah, I've been listening to everything. It's super dope what you guys have been talking about, and happy to be here. So how are we going to do this, DJ the Money Coach? We're going to take some.
Yeah, we're just going to do it fluent, and if you want to share with them a couple of little other carrots on what the product and the service we can help them, we're going to put the link up and how we can get them onboarded. Some people are been in business for 3-4 years. Some people are literally getting started, Shay. Some are transitioning. So what we'll do is let you pop out a couple of ideas. So from somebody that's thinking the difference between an LLC to an S corp and taking elimination of self-employment tax and also Social Security, what would be the first advice you would recommend to them as the expert in the industry?
Yeah, well, I would tell them, so this thing about finances, right? There's three sides of the triangle. You have banking, which I'm on, you have legal, and you have kind of the tax, right? So banking, legal, tax. So what I tell owners, you want to take that to your business attorney or CPA, and I would expand that question around your most three important people that you want to kind of be around. I heard a couple of our other coaches say this tonight. We want to build a good relationship with a bookkeeper, CPA, banker, and for sake of your question, attorney.
And now we're going to actually have our, master property management team that's known as Noir Invest. These gentlemen are running some very successful multi-units across the country, and they collectively have over 20-30 units personally in their business portfolio, and they also are managing our Zanzibar project.
I'll kind of just talk a little bit overview of how we financed properties. As Jonathan was saying, we've purchased cash. We've done the VA loan, so that's for primary residence. 1 to 4 unit, you can use a VA loan. So how we got started is the concept called house hacking. You probably heard of it, where you live in 1 unit and you rent out the other 3. So that's kind of how we got into the multifamily space. But the VA loan kind of allows you to have that 0% down ability.
Toledo Organic Tequila is so crisp, so incredibly smooth. It's simply in a category by itself. This is luxury. Life tastes better naturally, so should your tequila. This is Toledo. Enjoy responsibly. Visit ToledoTequila.com to get your bottle of Toledo Organic Tequila. Get a 10% discount on DJ the Money Coach by entering promo code MONEY at checkout. Again, that's ToledoTequila.com, promo code MONEY to get 10% off your Toledo purchase. Now, let's start the show. Thank you for joining us. And as we're getting started, make sure you like the video, share it, and subscribe to the 7 Spheres of Money. And again, this show is sponsored by Toledo Organic Tequila. That's it right there. Smooth, crisp, luxurious, organic, and most importantly, Black owned. And you can get a discount on that on my man right there, DJ the Money Coach. Enter that promo code MONEY to get 10% off. Shop ToledoTequila.com. So now that you got that out the way, man, let's get into it, man. So what's up, DJ? What's going on?
What's up, Nick? DGIF.
You already know.
The day above the ground and you got your health is a great day in America.
Absolutely.
However, my man, upon the horizon, the winter is coming.
Yep, that's
you don't know. You better watch out.
Yeah.
It's coming, baby. It's coming. But here's the good news. You can weatherproof yourself and insulate yourself from that winter. If you have been putting the work in and planting those seeds during the harvest is when you should be planting for the next year. And we've been doing that, and we're going to help you guys do that too. So you can avoid the winter is coming. And we mean that, you know, in a figurative aspect, more so than a literal aspect. So if you're watching this, we're not talking about the actual weather, the winter. We're talking about the financial winter. Destruction is upon the shore. And if you haven't been putting your foundation together over the last 24 months, and you've been out there like the grasshopper, enjoying the summer and not putting no work in while the ants and the bees are putting the work in, you're going to be the first house that's going to get hit by the winter. And like they used to do in the biblical terms, they say, hey, everybody mark your house with the word of God and you will be passed over. But for the rest of you, the winter is coming. Are we trying to scare you? Absolutely not. We're trying to prevent a catastrophic event from happening in your house. And you may say the catastrophic event has already been here in the form of the pandemic. However, a lot of people on that welfare nipple have actually done better financially than they did before the pandemic, before the government and the welfare training. That's all done, baby. It's a wrap. It's over. And now the real people are going to stand up. So there's a saying. It's time to put the women and children to bed and let the real man take care of the business. And that's what we're going to talk about on today's show on Nick's Knowledge and Notion. So back over to you, Nick.
Yeah, that's right. So this is actually stemming from that fire interview that you did last night on our friend Erica Williams' Classy Climb show. You know, so I was inspired by that, and because like you talked about all of the financial catastrophes that are on the horizon and what people can do to prepare for that. So we're gonna talk a lot about that tonight, but also remind the people that it's not just the financial winter that's coming. There's also a mental winter that's coming, and also a physical winter that's coming. And we want to talk about what you should do to prepare for that. And some of these things we talked about in our previous show, previous programs, earlier in the year and last year, dealing with, health, both physical health, mental health, on this program, as well as Medical Mondays, but we're seeing a rehashing of, or rather, I would say an outright attack on our health, both mental and physical. Whether it's real or imagined, it's still, the effects of it are very real. So we have the variants of the C19, that's supposedly going around, and the media is vamping up, and whether you believe in it or not, the effects of it are very real. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to prepare for that, how to prepare your mind so you're not in fear, and also to prepare your body, so you can build up your defense and limit the likelihood that you'll become sick. So we'll touch on a little bit of that, along with the financial part that DJ was talking about is the the political part of it. How to gear your mind up and prepare yourself against the the messages and the propaganda that you might be receiving, when you watch the news, and or just reminding yourself to unplug from the TV, or like DJ calls it, the idiot box, just to keep your mind clean, and to limit the amount of fear and anxiety you're feeling, because they're vamping it up. They're definitely vamping it up. I don't watch a lot of news, but I'm at my parents' house now. They watch the news. I hear it secondhand on the TV. I was getting the tire changed. They had the TV on in the tire place, and that's all they were talking about for the few hours I was there. They were talking about the same topic, different angles, but they were talking about the same topic. So yeah, winter is coming. Get prepared mentally, physically, and financially. That's what it's all about.
Oh yeah, so you made a great point. Get mentally prepared. Here's what you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, ladies and children, boys and men. Everything is programmed. That's why they call it programming. So what Nick just talked about, if the idiot box is on, follow the money. Why are they sending these messages out? Because they want you to be in a fear mindset. When you're in a fear mindset, you make desperation moves. And again, this is a version of protectionism. Because in some parts of the world, resources are minimal. And in some parts of the world, people are not reproducing. Thus, they want you to think that you're in the same boat as they are. What do I mean by that? What I mean is real simple. So, for instance, the latest consensus projects that the country of Nigeria is going to be the most populous country in the world in the next 20 years. And that's out of left field. You would think that China and India would have that. But again, Africa is the largest continent in the world. And the adversary is not reproducing anymore. So what do they do to protect their throne? There's a great program on Netflix, a documentary about how the monarch actually keeps their position in the world financially. I would highly recommend you watch that. It talks about the parliament, the kings and the queens, with now they're just figureheads. But they're still running the majority of the world out of fear. And if you just had some common sense, which is not common knowledge, and realize that they are not going to be able to out reproduce you anymore, and you start acting from a leverage of populist majority instead of minority, you can put them out of business. Think about this. When slavery was happening in the state of South Carolina, check this out, Nick. Do you realize that statistically there were more slaves than there were actually slave owners? And I'm talking about almost 2 to 1. So you and I would think, how in the hell can it be 10 of us and 5 of them and we being slaves to them? Oh, they got guns. Nope. They got your mind trapped. Because if you didn't have fear, think about this, and you went out to battle, just from a number standpoint, I might lose 5 lives, but I'm actually going to take 5 or 7, and the numbers just going to be in our favor. So how were they able to keep slavery intact in South Carolina when the numbers are almost 2 to 1, slave owner versus slave? So what I mean is there were 2 times almost more slaves than were slave owners. They didn't have, tanks and nuclear bombs. They had a gun and a whip. But what they had locked was your brain. Same mechanism that the tamer of the lion and the elephant used when you were a little pup. They tethered you mentally by putting a spike around your ankle and snapped it in the ground, and you physically couldn't get away from it when you were little. And that mentally, when you became a bull lion or a real lion in of itself, and you were more than powerful, and they still were able to pop you that whip because you mentally was thinking, I got this tether around my leg and I can't get away. So what does that got to do with the winter's coming? Because if you got that idiot box on, you are now becoming a fear-minded person. Even though you don't have a problem, everywhere you go, you're bombarded with the same message from the minority who's controlling the majority, and you start acting out of emotion versus logic, and you start doing stupid stuff that keeps them in power. Thus, the winter is coming because you are predictable. You're like the Lemmy. Every 4 years, I'm going to send one out, and they all going to go and leap off the cliff to their death. Think about that. And that goes for you highly intellectual idiots. You got PhD, MD, MBA, BS, blah, 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 blah. And I ain't blaming anybody. Hey, higher level education is a beautiful thing. But if you can't free up the mind and be a free thinker of your own cognition, then there's a problem with that. So when the winter is coming, that's coming from the people who are not deep thinkers. So they will fall prey to the psychological traps that they don't have to fall prey to. Because what does that mean in a physical standpoint? Yes, financially, there's no more stimulus. Yes, I hear you saying, well, there are some other, there's some special programs that you got to give up your freedoms in order to get that money. You know, and then, you know, we're talking about, oh, well, we're selfish if we don't get this, you know, experimental thing put into our veins intravenously because of fear. And I'm gonna get a whole bunch of pushback. But here's the reality. If I have contracted COVID-19 and I overcame it, I'm now immune to it. And there's nothing that you can do by putting on a mask and social distancing that's gonna make you sick. But it's your right to feel that way, and I honor it and I respect it. But you're gonna say, because I don't believe that I should have it, I'm putting you at risk. Think about that. I'm putting you at risk, but you've got the vaccination, you're doing the social distancing, and you're wearing the mask. How am I putting you at risk? I just want to know. And if I'm healthy and I've never contracted COVID, how am I putting you at risk? And then if I'm not around you, how am I putting you at risk? But again, back in the 50s, the 40s, and the 60s, it was mandatory that you take all these vaccinations. And I get it. We eliminated smallpox, we eliminated measles and all that stuff. But any life lost by experimental drug is one too many lost, in my estimation. And again, people say, hey man, but look about being unselfish in the collective. But you know what? I'm going to be selfish because you know what? There's only one DJ the Money Coach. And there's only 4 DJ the Money Coach children. And as far as I'm concerned, if something happens to those 4 and DJ the Money Coach, everything else don't matter. Because at the end of the day, I'm not a nationalist, or I'm not sitting up here and embracing any economy, be it a republic, be it democracy, be it socialism or communism. Because you know what the economy I'm embracing? The Randsburg International economy. Because that means that my legacy is a wrap. And if my legacy is a wrap, do I really give a care? No, I do not. However, I'm going to abide by the general immutable principles of God's laws and hope that you do the same, and then we can collectively coexist with technology and health practices that benefit everybody. What do I mean by that? I mean by the simple fact, you're a homeowner, right? You have a yard, right? Your neighbor across the street is a homeowner. he has a yard. He has a pet. You don't have a pet, but his pet comes across the street and defecates in your yard. Are you supposed to be like, oh, no problem, Bob. No problem, Pookie. You pick it up, you dump it in your trash. Guess what's going to happen again? What do you think will happen with that pet? That pet going to say, oh, I got another place that I can displace my waste. And there's no recourse to his action. Now, that's my private property, but he's defecating and destroying my property, and nothing's happening to him because nobody's infringing on him in a public nuisance, right? And I know what y'all saying. What does that got to do with the winter is coming? Well, what it has to do is the simple fact that we have violated the common decency law of treating our neighbors the way we want to be treated. And if it happens accidentally, that's okay. But if it becomes a repeat offense, now we got to put it out. Now I got to put a gate up. Now I got to protect myself. Now my privacy and my freedoms are eliminated because you are infringing upon it. And that's the same thing that's happening with the propaganda that you're exposed to in the media, because they know your mind. Here's the thing: what people, a lot of people don't know, Nick. Do you notice that any information that is put out into your mind can never be eliminated? It can be diluted, but it cannot be eliminated. And the programmers know that.
Yep.
That's the reason why in Europe, the UK, they have prevented and made legal subliminal messages. So if you don't know that this stuff can be said to you, that's why they say, hey man, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words never hurt me. It's just the opposite. For the average person, if somebody says something to you and it has a position of influence over you, their words are more powerful than their physical abuse of you. And so when we talk about the winter is coming, we're talking about psychologically first protect the most important real estate that you own. That 3 pounds and them 6 inches between your ears are the most important real estate you have. And once that's penetrated, everything else is at loss if it's negatively penetrated. So in regards to the winter is coming, let me just talk about the financial aspect. The Federal Department of Insurance Corporation, they're cutting back on reserves, the guarantees. The stock market is very volatile right now. Biden is increasing corporate taxes. 2.2 million families put their homes in forbearance at the beginning of the pandemic to save a little money. Now, we're coming out of the pandemic officially and might be going back in, and those same 2.2 million are still in forbearance. And a forbearance is just to give you a grace period over a short period of time. But if the grace period worked, Nick, tell me, why is there 2.2 million people still in forbearance on their homes? There's no more stimulus, because the stimulus was created to stimulate the retail consumerism world we live in America now. So now that those people are not going to have money, you're going to see, and I don't know if you saw this, Nick, a 68-year-old man got beat up in broad daylight by a thug that tried to rob him. And since the man didn't give him his stuff, he beat that guy almost to death. And you know why he did that? Because he ain't got no more money. And he's using the excuses as, you know what? It's out here, kill or be killed. Broad daylight. He pummeled this innocent 68-year-old guy. And the 68-year-old guy, because his pride, and he wasn't able to discern that this was a threat to his life. And he was like, hey, I'm going to bow up. But guess what? The physical aspect of this, you're 68. This guy looked like he was like in his mid-20s. You're not going to beat him physically. So maybe he should have lost the battle to win the war. But his pride got the best of him. And guess what? The thug took advantage of the situation and abuse that guy in broad daylight. Then check this out. The winter is coming. 17-year-old kid kills a guy point blank in front of a grocery store. Did you see that?
I believe so. Yeah, I think I
The
heard.
guy rides up on his bike, just minding his business. This kid point blank in front of a video shoots this guy right in the head, bro. You know why? Because mentally, the winter is already in the feeble mind of the thug who beat up the 68-year-old and the 70-year-old who shot that innocent guy point blank over nothing. Because back at their house, they have succumbed to the welfare mentality that you can't do for yourself. In your predicament, Uncle Sam can take care of you. And then not knowing that Uncle Sam was going to cut everything off. And now you go into desperation mode and you start acting like a literal animal in everything you do. And then you make it a blame that, oh, it ain't me. But you know what the reality is? There was no man in those houses. There was no man to say, you know what? That's wrong what you're doing. Don't do it again. But there was a mom cuddling them and said, oh, baby, you my baby. You so special. And we got a disadvantage. And there's no one like you on this world. Here's the reality. You're special to your mama, but you ain't special to nobody else. And if you really were special to your mama, you would actually had higher regard and dignity and respect for that name on the back of the jersey. So the winter has been coming for a long time psychologically, but now physically and financially, it's going to reap hell on a lot of people's homes. And here's the thing. If you want to ignore the past, you will get rolled over by the avalanche of the future. If you want to ignore the past, you will get rolled over by the avalanche of the future. What do I mean? All we got to do is go back to 2008. That caught a lot of people off guard. Now here we are in the pandemic era, and it's nothing different. So why not go back and watch the video, see what happened, see who got bailed out, see who didn't, and take accountability and ownership for your own actions. And then you could weatherproof your mental capacity, your health capacity, yet alone your physical capacity. Back to you, Nick.
Yeah, man. You put that together beautifully, you know, and I just want to summarize and add on to a few of those points you made about the fear and also about you know, health and about, you know, preparedness, you know. So just going back to the fear, as far as being prepared for the winter is coming. Prepare for that fear by starting to think critically. You know, look at things through a critical eye. Ask the correct questions, because that fear impacts you on all fronts. You know, we talked about the mental, the physical, and the financial. Financially, it could cause you to make foolish decisions, you know, with your money, make the wrong investments, or you know, buy a bunch of stuff that you don't need and start hoarding a bunch of stuff that you don't need, like we saw last year. Mentally, that fear keeps you in control, has control over you. And on the physical front, fear increases your stress levels, which will increase, which also increases your cortisol, and that weakens your immunity. So by being overly fearful, you end up being your own worst enemy by weakening your immunity and becoming sick because of your fear rather than the actual virus. You know? And then health. DJ mentioned that he's healthy. So we understand that there's some health conditions that that are outside of our control, but there are a lot of things that we can do to take control of our health. Diet is one thing. I know, and we talked about this before. DJ and I, we both make sure we have a healthy diet. We load up on those fruits and those vegetables and that water, and cut down on the salt and the sugar and the fats. Exercise. Dr. Hollowell did a show several weeks ago about fitness. All you have to do is 15 minutes a day of movement.
Man, and that was an excellent show. I mean, she broke everything down, step by step, exercise, mentality, gave you strategy, and then brought on an extremely exceptional trainer and actually did an illustration right there on the show.
Yep, demo.
And little short exercises that you can do.
Yeah,
if you haven't seen that show, go back and check it out. Medical Mondays with Dr. Hollowell. And I would make that a keepsake that I use as my encyclopedia for great health.
Yep. All stuff that you could do at home. You don't need a gym membership. You could do it right in your living room, or you could do it right outside, because another thing is you need to get under that sunlight and get that vitamin D. That vitamin D will help build up your defenses against whatever viruses that are out there. So these are just basic things that you don't need to be highly educated about. You don't need to go out and buy a bunch of fancy equipment or fancy expensive products or food. These are just basic things that you could do on a daily basis and be mindful of to prepare yourself for the winter. So that's what I just want to leave the people with. And then come back to the financial piece and talk about what we got coming up to help people weather the storm, the winter that's coming.
Oh yeah, you make a great point. So on the financial piece, because at the end of the day, what people need to understand, Nick, is that financial independence and financial freedom are Siamese cats. What do I mean by that? If you want to be able to travel around the world and have an extraordinary lifestyle, you have to have money, and you actually have to have time as well. So there's a saying, poor people have time, but they don't have money. And then you have people who work extremely hard to make a lot of money, but they don't have time. How do you marry the perfect world and do that? Well, it's real simple. Here's the problems that are the burden of the middle class, okay? The middle class is taxed the most, and they are the bread and butter of America. 2/3 of the jobs that are put together are by middle class and small businesses, okay? 2/3. And right now, what you're looking at is the problems that are amongst them is that they're also the ones that are being taxed the most. Why is that? Because the 1%ers, they have accountants, financial planners, lawyers, HR people, lobbyists who actually can manipulate and grant favor and have influence over the changing in legislation. So anytime something new is coming up to tax more, they're already ahead of it, and they're putting their stakes in the ground to get leverage in the tax loopholes and the legislation that's been, administrated. So they're never going to pay more taxes. The poor people who are legitimately poor, who are getting tax earned income credits, the stimulus checks, the welfare programs, they don't have any money to be taxed. Who does that leave left? That leaves the middle class. Then you pay alternative minimum income tax. You pay higher taxes than everybody else when you're doing everything right, because you don't know what estate planning is, because you don't think you qualify for estate planning. So what you need to understand is that you need to know the laws on estate taxes, death taxes. You need to know the laws on seasoning. You need to know the refinancing laws. You need to know proper corporate structure. You need to have a business team for sustainability. You need to have, most importantly, relationships that you can actually be granted favor to get to the next level, to give you exposure to how the game is really played. How do you get that if you don't know? Well, how do you get that? You get that because you come to an educated webinar put on by educated people who look just like you, that are actually bringing you common information and common knowledge from an experience and an expertise base. And that's how you weatherproof yourself. So what we're going to do for you is we're going to show you behind the screen how this actually works, and how you don't have to be super intelligent, but you got to have some common sense to know that a door over here that's open that normally doesn't open for you, to get the benefit just to walk through it. And we'll help you walk through it, and just give you a case in point. Robinhood just IPO'd yesterday, $32 billion. What is Robinhood created on? It's created on middle class. All it did is give you an opportunity of access to do some of the things that you normally couldn't do because of legislation and laws, but they were able to figure out a way to finagle the ability for you and I to actually buy shares, options, puts, crypto, that through the changes in the laws that they had money to facilitate that for the common person. And you got excited and didn't realize you were just getting fractions of shares. It couldn't make you wealthy, but you found excitement out of it because you were getting in the game. But the reality is you made Robinhood wealthy. And then when the bag got reversed on Robinhood, they showed you their real mindsets of elitists. What do I mean? When GameStop was getting manipulated because it was a crappy stock, and my children owned GameStop for 5 years. GameStop was being shorted by all the major hedge fund groups, and then all of a sudden, Reddit said, you know what, we're going to stop this. And Robinhood said, oh, we can't get all these shorts coming in against GameStop. We're not going to allow you to place your order. But they supposed to be for the common man and girl. And the reality is, you made them a $32 billion company based off of concepts and legislation that they had an elitist advantage that you didn't have. So my question is, since you made them wealthy, where's your team? Where's your access to give you even a opportunity to actually achieve the American dream? And then here's another question I have for you. Are you really middle class? And do you really know what the definition of middle class is? Because the definition of middle class is not your income, it's your wealth. And if you don't believe me, you can go look up this book called The Hidden Cost of Being an African American by Dr. Shapiro. This book was written, I think, like back in 1998 out of the University of Chicago, and it's a straight case study of blacks, whites, and Hispanics. And it shows how a common white person who may even have an income of $30,000, $40,000, but they're living in a middle class community with a $200,000-$300,000 house because their grandparents gave them inheritance from real middle class versus earned income. Conversely, it shows you real case studies of blacks and Hispanics who are first-time college graduates who make six figures but can't even afford to buy homes that they were bought. Then it flips the script and shows you how the welfare system has benefited people that didn't need it. And then it shows you a case study of how somebody who actually used the welfare system, or how it was really originally generated and created to help people get a leg up to actually get to the next level. So the real middle class is about wealth and assets, not earned income. And if you think that you're making $250,000 and you're the first person to do it in your family, that you are solid upper middle class and you don't have $2.5 million in assets to bestow upon somebody or have that passive income derived from it, you're not middle class. You're just working broke, piled higher and deeper, and over-debted. So we're going to do for you in the Weatherproof to Wealth webinar, we're going to show you exactly how the system works. We're going to show you professionals in the 7 spheres of money. They're actually going to show you the actual businesses, the real estate, and the tax laws that we abide by that actually creates real wealth for the common man and woman. And if you're wise enough to invest in yourself, you will be able to weatherproof yourself, not only to wealth, but just the sustainability of a middle class dream, which is what America was built on for the common man and woman. And that's this Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a one-time event that we're doing. And it's an event that we do for our executive members only. But we're going to roll this opportunity out to you so that you can take advantage of it. And on top of that, I'm going to give you a complimentary consultation with me personally to sit down and go over your personal portfolio and show you if you are weatherproof. And if you're not, I'm going to show you how to insulate that in order to get your way to prevent the winter from coming. Because guess what? It's here and it's on the shore and it's going to be knocking at your door. And the only way you're going to prevent it from taking you over is that you have the foundations in place so that you cannot be a victim of the Passover or the destruction that's happening. Don't be a lemon because the winter is coming.
Yep. There you have it. I just put the link there in the chat. The link is also in the description. So go ahead and click on that and register. So once you register on that link, you will receive a follow-up email with directions on how to schedule your consultation with DJ and how to access the live webinar.
Let me tell you another reason why the winter is coming, ladies and gentlemen. I don't mean to interject and stop what you're saying there. I want you to go read the Financial Times Investment Business IBO. We are just ended Q2. The GDP is down. The jobless claims are up. We have super inflation. And if you don't believe it, just go back and do the research. In January, before Biden was actually, in office, what was gas in your area? In my area, Nick, gas was about $1.39. Gas right now, $2.79. If I'm not mistaken, that's 100% increase.
Yeah.
How much was wood? How much was electricity? How much was basic services like plumbing, carpentry in your community? Go check. Has your income, has the stimulus grown in the same proportion that the inflation has? I remember back in 2008 when the gas price in California hit $5 and everybody was like, oh my goodness. Nobody's saying anything about that right now. Gas is $5.40 in some places. Might go to $10. I just had some yard work done on my house, and it was 2 times what it cost 2 years ago. Basic yard work, some fence work, some landscaping. And the guy just told me, hey man, there's a waiting list to get wood. There's a waiting list to get mulch. If you got to have it right now, the price is what the price is. You either can afford it or you can't, bro. Fortunately for me, I was able to afford it. Think about that. Distribution through the trucking system across the landscape. Truck insurance gone up by 30, 40, 50%. Is the profit going up at that rate? And then here's the big one. Automation. AI, baby. I hear you. Oh, DJ, but they're giving bonuses for people to go and work at McDonald's and Amazon. Really? All them jobs are being eliminated through automation. And here's the scary part, Nick. Automation is eliminating white-collar jobs. Basic surgeries. Basic accounting is being replaced by AI. So you tell me winter's not coming? And here's the trick. what I tell everybody, anytime you see a new movie come out that's a futuristic type of movie that you think never can happen, all they doing is programming you to lessen your senses and your fear piece to accept that stuff in reality. Go back and look at these 3 movies and tell me if they're not happening in real time today. Enemy of the State, Minority Report, I Am Legend. And tell me if that shit ain't happening in real life right now.
Yeah,
Social credit in China.
Credit, yeah.
It's already in China where your credit score will eliminate you from actually getting into stores, getting into schools, where you actually got to show, they pull your card up and it shows your credit score and what your social credit, and you can't even, it's a documentary. Go check it out. So when you're watching these movies and you don't think that should have never happened, they are just programming you to desensitize you. Like, how do I boil a frog in a pot of water without him jumping out? Because
slowly.
the frog is amphibious.
Gradually, slowly.
Gradualism. 1 degree at a time, no shock to the system. And that's what they're doing right now. Winter is already here. You just don't realize it. But now it's going to come in a harsh reality, and it's going to be the Hunger Games. And you can prevent this right now by weatherproofing yourself, by investing in some education. You don't have to invest with us. And I'm going to tell you, like our main man, Leonard Ray says, I don't need your money. Because do you have any savings and checking accounts with any bank? If you do, guess what? We're dealing directly with them, and they're giving us business lines of credit to get your money free. So in this webinar, check this out. We're actually going to teach you how to build business lines of credit with marginal credit from 0 to 100 grand in 6 months. We ain't doing no get rich quick schemes. We're going to expose to you how the top 1%ers get it done through principles and techniques that are long-term lasting. I mean, think about that. We're going to show you pocket investments. What do I mean? Snoop Dogg bought Robinhood at 20 cents a share. Robinhood opened up at $32. Tell me what rate of return that is. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's 10,000%. But is Snoop Dogg a super, iconic financial wizard? No, he's not. You know how I know? Because he got raked over the coals by Suge Knight. And you know who bailed him out? Percy, who's known as from New Orleans. What's my guy's name?
Are you talking about Percy Miller, aka Master P?
Master P. Check it out. Yeah. Snoop Dogg, when he was selling all them albums, was in debt and was being pimped by Suge Knight. And then Master P showed him the real game behind the scenes. He was actually about to try to eliminate Suge Knight. So do you really think that Snoop Dogg is a financial genius? Or does Snoop Dogg have access to financial geniuses? Just told him, hey, brother, this Robinhood is available and you got a little cash and it's a little risky, but we'll give it to you at 20 cents a share. Does that sound familiar? Oh, how about Shaq? Oh, but Shaq got a PhD. Shaq is a celebrity with disposable income in the millions. And when people are putting startups together that are very risky that people don't understand, they go to people with easy money and share with them the upside, and they have money they can lose, or they have cachet or Q points that they can help promote the product and give it viability across the landscape. Well, they'll give it to them for pretty much nothing. What are you talking about, DJ Money? You ever heard of this little company called Ring? Ring.com? Shaq tells a story about he was getting some surveillance equipment put on one of his houses. Dude quoted him like 100 grand. He's like, dude, I ain't paying that. And then all of a sudden, he had another, house of his that he paid 20, 30 grand. And then all of a sudden this little ring product he found in Best Buy for 40 bucks did a better job than the 20, 30 G's and 100 grand he was quoted. And he bought it. He was, oh, snap, this worked. And then because of his celebrity, not because he's a financial guru. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Not because he's a financial guru. He made a phone call and said, hey, man, I'm Shaq. I like your product. Let's put a deal together because I got a 2 million followers and I can promote the hell out of this. And you're going to pay me to do commercials and I'm going to get his life. Boom. The rest is history. But ask yourself a question. Who's your Shaq? Who's your Snoop Dogg? Do you have a family office? No, you don't. But you know what? Yes, you do. If you're smart enough to invest in yourself and come to this webinar with the 7 spheres of money for the middle class, we can be your Shaq and your Snoop Dogg too and show you the same type of investments that they got access to that you can afford to change your generational wealth for the next 2 to 3 generations. Real talk. And if you took your stimulus money and vacationed like everybody else did, and then you bought a couple of little doodads and you don't invest in yourself, then the winter is coming. And when that avalanche rolls over your house, you deserve what you get. And I know you don't like what I'm saying, but guess what? I'm still going to sleep well tonight. I'm still going to eat well tonight. And I'm still going to be free tomorrow. Will you? And see, here's what real love is. Real love is when people tell you exactly what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So if this don't resonate with you because I'm shuffling and ruffling your feathers a little bit, so be it. But let them people keep telling you these niceties. And then when you out on that, welfare line in Skid Row, or you living in that gated community and your house is about to be foreclosed on, you'll think twice about missing out on the opportunity to have your opportunity to have access to the same stuff that them celebrities have. So I'm going to challenge you. If you don't have planning together, you don't have a team, and you don't see the value of educating yourself because you're going to always have that job, you're going to always have that 6 figures, or you're the smartest person and you're going to make enterprise and you're not putting people together on your team, and you're the smartest person in your crew, then you might be the biggest fool on the planet. And like P.T. Barnum said, there's a sucker born every day. And what my grandfather used to tell me, Nick, a fool and his money will always part. And you know what the amazing thing is, Nick? How did they get together in the first place?
It's a great question. Yeah. But yeah, no, I was just telling the people how how they can register for that webinar and what to expect. So again, the link to register is right there in the chat, and it's also in the video description. Click on it, register on that link, and then we'll hit you with an email with the directions on how to access the live webinar and how to schedule your one-on-one consultation with DJ and get on his calendar. And remember, as always, you got to fill out that budget sheet and survey, though. Need those for that consultation.
Yeah. And you know what, Nick? Free ain't free. I ain't never met somebody that got financially free off of free shit.
Yep.
You know what? But you know what? There's always an exception to the rule. There's always gonna be somebody say, man, I got all this free stuff, and you are the anomaly. Mm-hmm. You're the lottery ticket winner. And here's the thing: we may not be for you, but you better find your foundational team to get you on success. And I'm gonna lead us with them. Never take advice from somebody who's not where you're striving to be in 3 categories. Don't take advice spiritually from somebody who's not spiritually sound where you're trying to be. Don't take leadership advice from somebody who's not a leader, a servanthood leader. And definitely don't take financial advice. And check the fruit on the tree. On our team, in the 7 spheres of money, Our CPAs, you can check them out. You can check them out on LinkedIn. You can check them out in corporate America. They check all boxes. Our attorney, you can check her out. She checks all boxes. Our financial planner, you can check him out. He checks all boxes. What do I mean? You can find them on LinkedIn, a professional network, and you can check their receipts in corporate America and see that they're doing the do, unlike a lot of these people who come out here with enormous personality. And when you're following people on personality versus character, you deserve to get what you get. Because see, sexiness is building a foundation to crawl, walk, run to success, not let me jump out here and be popular and famous, which means absolutely nothing. Or you better yet, you could become an OnlyFans. Because again, you know what? We all want something for nothing. We want the quick get rich scheme. We want to get lucky. We want to be born with the great looks, the great body, but we don't want to do the work. But we all want the rewards.
Oh, yeah.
What you're seeing right here, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, women and children, this is 20 years to be DJ the Money Coach. This is 10 years to be Nick Westbrooks. I want that to sink in. So when you turn on the media, internet, social network, television, radio, and you see this young person telling you, oh, I came from nothing, and just like that, I made $50 million. Oh, I could tell you how to make $300 in 1 hour and do that every day successfully. Go check their receipts. That's all I'm saying. Check their fruit on the tree. And every now and then there is somebody who's a genius that accomplished that and is a good person, but that's few and far between. You feeling me? So at the end of the day, find your place and find the people that you can trust by vetting them that allows you the affordability to get to the next level. And the first level you should be striving to is number one, consumer debt freedom. Credit score up to 720 on the road to 800. Have the ownership of your personal property and then have passive income that can meet your recurring expenses to give you financial independence. That's the American dream. And it's still available and viable. I'm a positive mindset person, but I'm also pragmatic to know if the writing's on the wall, have I put my defense in place to prevent them from taking what I got? In a castle, they had moats. Where's your moat? Who's your general? Who's your lieutenant? And who are your soldiers? And if you are all of that and above, you by yourself, you're about to fall. Real talk. So I enjoy coming out here and hanging out with you guys. And yes, the winter is coming, but you know what? We're weatherproofing ourselves to wealth on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. And on top of that, you're going to get access to our top 1% program that we personally do and our team if you are serious about your future. But most importantly, are you serious about creating transformational and generational wealth for your children's children? And I'm going to leave you with this last statement. What's the worst thing can happen to you? Is not you going to hell, but you get to hell and your son and daughters meet you there.
There it is. There it is. Yep, there it is. Drop the mic on that with the explosions. Yeah, man. Again, join us on Tuesday. Go ahead and register for that. And as a matter of fact, we got an episode of Bet on Black, the Women and Family Legacy, new episode dropping on Sunday. So we'll see you on Sunday, and then we'll see you again on Tuesday. So Again, this program you've been watching. There we go. Nick's Knowledge and Notions in Cube Science Series. Like, share, and subscribe. So we got, with the weekly programs coming at you. And we wish you a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind. And we want you to come join us on the beaches of the World Club. And your beach may not be next to sand or water, but your beach is weatherproof. Yeah, it's weatherproof for all seasons.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna shout out. Go see Resort to Love on Netflix. Dr. Hollowell's sister, Danielle Hollowell, is the costume designer on that program. And most importantly, it's a positive image of the Black family. Go see Resort to Love on Netflix. It just came out last night. It is amazing. It's unfortunate that I have to promote something that is commonplace and really what the family looks like and what real Black people are 90% of the time. It's an amazing movie and you will love it. It's a great Friday night movie for all ages and all socioeconomic groups, and it is none but a winner. Go support that. Resort to Love on Netflix, and the costume designer, Danielle Hollowell, is Dr. Hollowell's sister. So check it out, and if you don't like it, I'll refund your money.
There you go. You heard the man. You heard it from him directly. Go ahead and check that out. Resort to Love out on Netflix. Yep. So go ahead and matter of fact, go and watch that now. We're gonna let you go.
Watch it. It's a great movie for a date night, a family night. I'm telling you, you can't lose. And if you got a new, girl in your life, a new guy in your life, man, this is the movie to watch. Resort to Love. It is amazing, and it's positive, it's pure, and it's exactly what we used to be about during the Cosby age with the Cosby Show and different world. That's what I got to tell you. I mean, it is amazing. Go check it out. Resort to Love, and it exemplifies the pom-pom lifestyle. Plenty of money and peace of mind because it's on this amazing island right outside of Africa called Mauritius. Look it up. It is breathtaking. Resort to Love. And make sure you give a shout out to Dr. Hollowell's sister, Danielle Hollowell. She designed every clothing in it. She actually made it from scratch.
Wow.
Resort to Love.
Amazing. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Check it out.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, so go ahead and check that out. Check that out now. Then check out Bet on Black on Sunday. And then we'll see you at the webinar on Tuesday. So between now and then, live fearless, stay healthy, take care of yourself, turn that TV off. And we love y'all out there. and we'll see you next time.
That's really what freedom is. It's option. That's exactly what it is, Brandon. It's option. So with that, I have the option to bring you the foremost leader in starting businesses from A to Z, Dr. J.C. Baker. And the floor is yours. Take as long as time as you need to educate these awesome professionals, and sponsored by Chase Bank. And welcome to our Chase representative, Sherry Green. She's a community manager for Chase Bank here in Houston, and she's going to be working with all the small business owners through a free link that's going to be available to you guys at the end of this meeting as well. So Dr. J.C. Baker, the floor is yours, and we'll let you do what you do best. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thanks so much for allowing me to be here. Chase, thanks so much for your generous contributions and your partnership. You are certainly changing lives as it relates to understanding money and understanding their relationship with money. What goes hand in hand with that is what you do to generate revenue, to generate that money. And there's only two ways to do it. You either create a business and you do it for yourself, or you work for someone else that's done that. And then you take the available resources and then you leverage that in a host of ways. And in that case, that host of ways becomes the determinant.
And James is now going to give you guys a history lesson in taxes. Yours truly, James Lane Jr., our registered CPA expert extraordinaire. James, how you doing, brother? Take it away.
First thing is I'm going to talk about entities. Okay. If you're opening up a business, I am always going to recommend at the very least you open up an LLC. Okay. That limited liability corporation, the first most important thing is to limit your liability. You're invested in that company and you want to limit your liability to just your investment. You really want to have that shield so they can't come back and attack your personal assets if something goes wrong.
DJ the Money Coach in Paradise. That's right. We're live in Zanzibar, baby. But we want to give you the pom-pom lifestyle. You know, plenty of money, peace of mind. Come join us on the beaches of the World Club.
Hello, everyone. I am in Zanzibar, Tanzania. I have spent the last week here enjoying just soaking up the natural earth, learning about what this continent has to offer, and eating the best fruit, vegetables, seafood that I've ever tasted in my life. You don't have to spend a lifetime here, but spend some time.
And join us. But you got to hit that link